the axe, the git fiddle, the old six string. Tyson here, and today we're talking guitars. How do they work? When we're first learning the fundamentals of music and music theory, pianos are often used as an examples to show the relationship between scales and notes, notes and chords and keys. It's laid out in a linear fashion. It's easy to distinguish your natural notes from your sharps and flats. It's relatively easy to play the C major and A minor scales and even bust out a few triads. But let's face it, guitars are the cool kid in school. Everybody wants to be their friend. So let's take a minute, check out the basics, and see what all the fuss is about. Okay, 6 strings, 6 notes, standard tuning. Each string on a guitar represents a note. You have your top string here, the thickest one. That's an E. You have the bottom string, the thinnest one, also an E. So we'll call this top one low E, bottom one high E. But what's going on in between? Well, top down, if we play our strings open in their natural no-touchy state, we have E, A, D, G, B, E. Using a mnemonic device can be a helpful way to remember the names of the notes in the order of the strings. Personally, I went with the phrase, every American dog gets bitten every day. E, A, D, G, B, E. But there are a handful of other little sayings that serve the same purpose, so whichever's clever, go with it. All right, so 6 strings, 6 notes, and then we have our frets. Our frets are our little metal strips in the neck of the guitar that make up our fretboard. When we press our finger down on the fretboard, it presses the string against that fret, and in turn, changes our note. Each section on our fretboard is equivalent to a half step or 1 semitone, and as we move from section to section, from fret to fret, we are moving up our chromatic scale, beginning with the note of our open string. So if we play our top string open, E, we have an F sharp, a G sharp, an A sharp, a B, a C sharp, a D sharp, and when we hit that 12th fret, we are back to our E. We've moved up the entire chromatic scale, and now we are starting our scale over in the next octave. E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. And we can apply that same music math to all the other strings and frets. So, second string, an A, open A sharp, B, C sharp, third string D sharp, E, F sharp, G, our G sharp, A sharp, B, C, our B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F, and our bottom string, same as our top, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, back to our E. And by following certain patterns and creating certain shapes with our fingers, we can create the note combinations we need to make our chords. So we've been using the C major scale and the key of C for most of our examples so far, but this time we're going to mix it up a little bit and use the E major scale. All right, so we're going to play an E major chord here from our E major scale, and as we discussed previously, a basic major triad just consists of 3 notes, and all we're doing here is manipulating the strings, pressing down on certain ones on the fretboard to create the 3 notes that make up our E major triad. But you might be asking, hey, we got 6 strings, we're only making 3 notes, what gives? Well, we are in fact only playing 3 notes when we play this chord on the guitar. However, we are creating multiple instances of some of those notes when we play it. So we're playing our top string open and creating the root note in our 1, 3, 5 of our E major triad. And our second string, when we press down on that second fret, We're turning that A string into a B, which is the 5 in our 1-3-5. And our D string, we're also pressing down on the 2nd fret, and we're creating another instance of our root note, R1, our E. And our G string, we're pressing down to that 1st fret and making the 3 in our 1-3-5, that G sharp. And then our B string, we're playing open, another instance of that 5 in our 1-3-5. And then our bottom string, our E, open again, one more root note, one more instance of that 1 of the 1-3-5. 6 strings, 3 notes, 1 chord. Okay, so now we can mix it up a little bit. Add that pinky in. And what we've done is kind of interrupt our triad. We've taken that G sharp we were playing and turned it into an A, which is the 4 note in our scale. So now we've replaced that 3 note, that G sharp, with the 4 note, the A. And that is a sus4 when you replace the 3 in your triad with the 4. Now we can mix it up some more. Put our pinky on the bottom string. Lift it. And when we put that pinky on the bottom string, we're creating an F sharp, but we've regained the integrity of our original triad. And so what we've done is added a 9 from our scale into our triad. But you might be saying, wait, my scale only goes up to 7. So what's the deal? Well, as we discussed before, the scale repeats. So once you get up to your 7 note, the scale starts over on your root note. So in this case, our 1 starting over after our 7, our E becomes an 8, and then our 2 note becomes our 9. So you can see that making subtle changes to the composition of your chord by adding or altering notes from your scale can really change the sound, open up a lot of possibilities for building chord progressions, and hopefully it's helping you home in on the relationship between the notes in your scale and the chords that we build from it. Okay, well that wraps it up for today, and hopefully this was informative not only for total guitar newbies, but for anyone who maybe has dabbled on the instrument but wasn't really tuned in into what was going on under the hood. More vids are coming, so check back in, and until then, keep on rocking. We'll see you later.